Heyo, welcome to the Menacing Podcast. You might be saying to yourself, wait a second, it feels like it's been a long time since I have heard the beautiful tones of the Menacing Podcasters' voices. Kind of painted myself into a word corner there, but I expertly got myself out of it. That's correct, we did not have an episode last week, and we do apologize. We were celebrating Brent's funeral, so he won't be on again. We had to be killed off the show. So, but don't worry, John and I are still here, and we'll be anchoring this podcast. Now, I could go on letting you believe that John is actually here, and I don't think anybody would actually be any the wiser with his silence throughout the episode. But it is just me. Alas, it is just me. I didn't want to come out and just say it was just me, because the last time it was just a me episode, it didn't perform so well. And so I'm a little gun shy. It really hurt my feelings. And forgive me if I'm a little bit, I don't know. I feel the bar has been set too high now that I don't know if I can get over it. Although I guess technically, given the way the episode was, the bar could have been set low, so it's really only improvement from here. I guess it just depends on the way I look at it, if I look at it as a glass half empty or a glass half full. So, which actually, most research suggests that those who view the glass as half empty are more likely to get a refill. So there's a little statistics for you nerds out there. We cover the run of topics here on the Menacing Podcast. So whatever you want to talk about, you can let us know. I actually should probably check, first and foremost. Well, I should probably introduce myself. This is Russ. If you're a new listener, I don't want you to be thrown off and confused by me not introducing myself. So the goal is not to confuse people. We want everybody to be good to go. I did pose a question to the listeners on last week's episode titled "The Moon Landing Was Fake." Great episode. You should go back, listen to it, give it the old 5-star treatment, along with the podcast as a whole. You can give it the 5-star treatment. I think you can do it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I think you can probably do it on Google Podcasts and Amazon, and all places that have that little star ranking. Just give it the old 5-star treatment. So I did ask gentlemen, or those who identify as such. We got to be open and fair here on the Menacing Podcast. Are you bothered killing spiders? Like, if your significant other, we can't say wives, because that is too narrow of a field. So if your significant comes up to you and says, "There's a spider, I need you to kill it," are you Johnny on the spot? Do you get sick gratification out of quashing the life out of a living creature? Does it make you feel tough? Does it make you feel like a big man? Does it? Does it? Well, according to our audience, 67% of our respondents said no, they're not bothered by killing the spiders. Absolutely heartless. Absolutely heartless. We had 33% say yes, they are bothered by it. So we got a bunch of tough guys in the audience here. Listen, well, I guess that makes sense if you're listening to something called the Menacing Podcast. You're going to be a little on the tougher side. So, and I was not one of those that said yes. Definitely was not the case. So don't go spreading that rumor. There's enough rumors going around that we don't need to add to it. So there you have it. I was perusing Instagram, getting lost in that. What do they call it? When you're just flipping through. I don't even know what it's called now. If somebody can remember, let me know. But I also don't I don't care enough to look it up. So anyways, doing that thing where you're just flipping through, now it's going to bother me. now it is going to bother me. But regardless, so I was scrolling through Instagram, and there was, you know what, I think I had the story wrong from the beginning. This is why it's menacing, because you never quite know what the truth is with this podcast. We always keep you guessing. I think somebody actually sent it to me, and that's where I got it from. So somebody sent me something, and this thing, there was a video, and it was these three guys and a woman sitting in a conference room, and no, it was definitely scrolling. No, it was definitely scrolling. I don't think anybody sent this to me. Regardless, my apologies, folks, my apologies, do forgive me. But it was three guys and a girl sitting in a conference room, and it looked like doing a business meeting, and the lady gets up and leaves, and it says, as soon as the girls leave the room, or something along those lines, the guys flip around their laptops, and they're looking at like Roman Empire stuff. And what is with the Roman Empire lately? Why is that such a large topic of conversation? I don't understand it. And I would be very, very happy if somebody would just explain it to me. Something, for crying out loud. Could somebody just please explain it to me? I looked up online, but I prefer to find out how intelligent our listeners are. That's usually my preferred method. But I found an article from Fortune on their commentary on culture, where it says men can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire. It's because of the masculinity polycrisis. I don't even know what that means. What the heck is a masculinity polycrisis? How can you both be masculine and a poly at the same time? I guess would be my first question. That doesn't compute. That's like the guys who definitely was not me who answered that yes, they are bothered killing spiders, right? You can't kill the spider and be bothered by it. You just have to take sick pleasure in the taking of a life. So this article opens, it seems men can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire. What men? That's what I want to know. What men are they talking to? I mean, if you've got, a bunch of men who descended from the Gaelic tribes, well, of course they're going to be talking about the Roman Empire. They wanted to overthrow it. They wanted to, take it over. I mean, you're right. You're going to have that. Or if you're Brent and you take a trip. Oh, Brent. Yeah, well, he went to Italy. I guess that he's obsessed with the Roman Empire. That would make sense. He's got that kind of hyper masculinity sort of thing. Tough guy. Living off the land, killing spiders left and right. That sort of thing. But I just want, what men? I don't think I've thought about the Roman Empire since grade school. So I guess I don't. Well, that's not 100% true. I do have a video game, as real men are wont to play. A video game called Total War Rome 2. It's the second one. I don't think I have the first one, but I have Rome 2. And you play as as you would imagine, as the Roman Empire, and you organize your armies and you conquer lands in the name of Rome. So that's about the closest I come to thinking about Rome. There are some other good Rome-themed games, like Imperator Rome. I've never played that one, but I've played several other games by the developer of that game, and they're all very good, very good. I'm more a fan of the medieval era, if you will. The Roman Empire is it's intriguing enough if you need something to be intrigued by, but more so I'm captivated by the medieval era. So. And why is it the Roman Empire? Why not the medieval times? Why aren't a bunch of men going to the medieval times restaurants, where they like reenact being in the king's court? I feel like that would be better, but who am I? So, or at least that's what the latest social media craze suggests, that men can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire. So I guess this explains a lot more. I should have just read the second part of the first sentence, and it would have cleared everything up. Over 1 billion people. 1 billion people. That's a lot of people. Over 1 billion people have viewed a TikTok video with the hashtag Roman Empire, encouraging women to ask the men in their lives how often they think about the subject. Why? And it's shockingly often. I don't buy that. I mean, if you're going to put me on the spot, how often do I think about it? I don't know. 10 or 15 times a day? Is that a lot? Think about the Roman Empire? Elon Musk, not one lately to let a viral conversation go uncommented upon, even tweeted recently about late-stage civilization vibes. If it's true and men aren't simply being prompted by peer pressure, ding, 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 to overstate the frequency of their thoughts on the topic, it could be for good reason. First of all, why? No, it's not for good reason. First of all, the Roman Empire's legacy is deeply entrenched in our politics, architecture, education, language, and laws. Our language, they spoke in Roman numerals. We don't do that. Everything was like V's and X's and M's and L's. Like, you can't... Our language, Latin is a dead language, folks. For just being honest here, clearly I think about it a lot. From the capital to the military, America has placed a Roman heritage at its foundation. That kind of goes along with, the whole being a republic thing. Rome was a republic. Well, except, I guess in this... We're talking about the Roman Empire. I guess that is different. Watch Star Wars, the switch from the Republic to the Empire. Ding, ding, ding. You may not clock the multiple references to it that you see each day in the ubiquitous Latin words in your everyday speech. Just look up the etymology for most words you can think of, but your subconscious mind does. I don't think so. Neither am I. I disagree with it. I vehemently disagree with this. Now, obviously, in the next sentence they do talk about the founding of the United States itself, and Rome's part of that. Our founders did study the great republics, Rome being one of them, when they developed this nation. But I think about... I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I just had the thought about people using the English language today and how it ties into Latin. Nobody knows that, first and foremost. Nobody's taught that. Nobody traces back the words. I've never been in a conversation with somebody who's paused halfway through and been like, have you ever thought about the etymology of that word? I wonder where it traces back to. Probably to Latin, to the Roman Empire, which I think about often in my daily ponderings. Pondering. I wonder where that word came from. Is that from the Latin for something? Ponderosa. It's a steakhouse. It was Ponderosa Steakhouse. That might have been from the Roman Empire. We don't know. Steak, where does that come from? From the Roman Empire. Pronounced steak, yes, of course, yes, Latin, yes, of course, right, quite right. I don't buy into this notion that I've seen plenty of TikTok videos to know that most people don't have a very firm grasp of the English language. I've listened to myself speak enough to know that most people don't have a grasp of the English language. I've received plenty of text messages, emails, etc., etc. Well, now there's an interesting word, etc. I wonder where that etymologically came from, derived from Latin of some force, from the Roman Empire, of course. Quite right, quite right. I don't buy it. I have read from some great writers. There's a great. He's actually a political commentator predominantly, but he kind of comments on all parts of life. He used to be with National Review. Now he's over at The Dispatch. And his name's Kevin D. Williamson. And he will write about words. And so I get my education that way. And then there's another one with National Review. Oh no, what's his name? He's a great writer, and in his daily Jay Nordlinger, and his columns, and he does some podcasts. He discusses language quite often in those. So I'm not one who discusses language. My wife's an English major. I have a somewhat reasonable grasp on the English language, but for the most part, I couldn't tell you one bit about where the etymology of words. So don't come to me to find out those things. So if anybody knows a little bit more about this, I'm not going to go through this whole article because it's really just annoying me now. But if any of our listeners know anything more about where this Roman Empire fad and men thinking about the Roman Empire comes from, I'm going to toss up a poll that asks how often you think, and this is for men only. Sorry, ladies. We're going to be sexist here for a moment. What do women think about? Men are from the Roman Empire. Women are from Greece or something, I guess. I don't know. Where do they think about? Do they think about Athens? Is it the Nubian Empire that the ladies are more interested? The Aztecs and the Mayans and their collapse. And if Montezuma had just listened to his wife, I'm sure that then everything would have been much better. She was warning him, don't you dare listen to that Spaniard guy. He is not a good man. Not a good man. You should not trust him. But Montezuma didn't listen. I told him he should have listened to me, but he didn't. So there you have, maybe that's, what do women think about? But anyways, men, I'll put up a poll, so please let me know your thoughts. How often during the day do you think about the Roman Empire? Is it once? Twice? 5 times? 1 billion people watched this TikTok video, which, by the way, well done, folks, giving... There's 1 billion people that China now has all the information on. I accidentally downloaded the TikTok app once. It was an ad that popped up as I was clicking something through I think it was through one of the app stores, and definitely not the Apple App Store, because I loathe Apple. Both John and Brent use Apple products, so it definitely hinders our friendship a little bit. But what are you gonna do? You gotta deal with all sorts of people, and how you deal with that's really what defines you. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you heard anything about this Roman Empire nonsense. And if you're obsessed with the Roman Empire, I think it's interesting from a historical perspective, right? Using the Roman Empire, but find out why the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. You've got all that nerd stuff that goes along with it, but no, I don't think about it at all. So I'm curious I'm curious how many of our male listeners, which according to our statistics here, give me 1 second here. According to our statistics, 52% of our listening audience is male. So, what is it? Do you think often? Once, twice, 5 times? Is there not enough hours of the day to dream about the Roman Empire? Because apparently men are obsessed with it. I feel like men are obsessed with plenty of other things than the Roman Empire. That one I just don't buy it. I'm not buying it. I'm not on the Roman Empire bandwagon. Not even remotely. So, there you have it, folks. We don't have any listener email to go through this week, but that's fine. We don't have to have it. We also don't have John to go over any news stories. So I think we'll just wrap up with silence for the last 10 minutes of the... We'll just have a moment of silence for the Roman Empire, of course. Actually, you know what? We'll go from the Roman Empire to major red flags, which probably they should have looked at to see the decline of the Roman Empire. Now I can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire. That's the problem. They put it in your head. Now we're having this mass psychosis of people who think they always think about the Roman Empire, but they don't. It's just people said they do. Oh, my goodness. This one was a topic shared in our the podcast chat that we have where we bounce ideas off one another. This is psychologist warns it's a major red flag, quote unquote, if you relax by enjoying true crime stories. What do you think of that one, folks? There's a lot of people who enjoy true crime stories now. There's even what is it on Hulu? They have the TV show with Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. Only murders in the building. Only murders in the building. So there's this obsession with true crime podcasts. I'm curious to see. Actually, now this is just off the cuff. What are some of the top podcasts? I don't even know. I wouldn't even know how to begin to look that up at the moment. Top Spotify. Let's just do top Spotify podcasts. Oh, they do actually have. Yeah, okay. They have Spotify charts. Top podcasts. Missing. Well, no, don't stop moving. Stop moving. Oh, here it is. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the wrong spot. One moment here. We're loading. We had it loaded, but I messed it up because I was too busy thinking about the Roman Empire. Okay, this is not going to cooperate. New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelsey. That's Wave Sports. And so that's got to be... Oh, Wave Sports. That's very specific. It's a very specific kind of sport. Hot Mess with Alex Earl. Seems legit. No, you just hear about her life. That sounds really boring. The Joe Rogan Experience. That when you get into your conspiracy theories. And then here we go. Number 4. Murder in Apartment 12. So there you have a nice murder one at number 4. Let's see if I can find another. I'm really surprised. There's a Crime Junkie, number 12. So not quite as many as I actually was expecting. Of course, in that the Menacing podcast is on there. Of course, as we all know. Right? Yeah. The page. I couldn't see what number we were. We were very high up, though. Very high up. So, and we are also not a murder podcast. Sometimes Brent does get a little aggressive, but it is so far it's not become an actual murder podcast. So that's good. We're grateful for that. So that's a red flag, apparently, a major red flag. What do you think of that? Because I mean, it's interesting. It is an interesting concept. A major red flag, if you, was it, I want to just look at the specificity of what that was saying, if you relax by enjoying true crime. I kind of agree with that. If you're relaxing with it, and actually Brent did respond. This actually is very telling here. Brent did respond in our text with, well, what does the red flag indicate? Not to brag, but I like to relax with some true crime. So I get, yeah, that makes sense. That's a major red flag, which of course, yeah, that fits. No, that's very telling. So I agree with that concept there. I'm not a true crime podcast listener myself. I don't care. There's enough crap going on in my own life. Not murders. Definitely not murders. That's not what I'm saying. But there's just enough that I have to worry about without adding, the anxieties of listening to murders and true crime stories on top of it. I'd be interested. We're going to talk with Brent when he's back and just ask him what is so relaxing about that. What is that? You're a psychopath, Brent. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it right here. That might be the truth. You're a psychopath. I say that with all the red flags in the world. So there you have it. If you're a big fan of true crime podcasts, sorry about that. I don't mean to insult you, but you have some problems, Chief. You have some problems. So there you have it, folks. We're at the end. Thank goodness. That could not go by fast enough. I'm glad we don't do an hour anymore. That would be an hour is tough to fill. And I know I've talked about this before, so I won't delve too much into it. But it's really easy to think you've done enough, but then to realize you have not. Not even remotely. So, happy fall, y'all. Has everybody, gone out and gotten their devil's fruit latte, pumpkin spice latte, the devil's fruit, as we all know. I take a firm stand against that, and here on the Menacing Podcast, it is our official position that pumpkin spice lattes are the drinks of the devil, and we do not partake in them ourselves. So, if you are a white girl who likes to wrap herself up in flannel and march her way through some leaves on her way to Starbucks to grab her pumpkin spice latte, I guess more power to you. But you know, this is how the Roman Empire fell. It's right. We're right back to it. I can't stop thinking about it. It's just it's everything to me now. So, you can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found, really. Those are kind of the four big ones, but we're also on some of the smaller streaming services. We're hoping to get our own Netflix special pretty soon, or even, I would even take a Amazon Prime special. Maybe I even take a Hulu special. Which, did anybody know Hulu's owned by Disney? I find that just amazing. They own ESPN, ABC, Hulu, and Disney Plus, and none of them are doing great. So, nice job, Disney. Maybe that particular governor of Florida was onto something. But you can hit us up. menacingpodcast@gmail.com is the most direct route to get hold of us. You can also comment on our Spotify episodes. We have some listeners who like to do that as well. We appreciate that. And we also, on Spotify, have the poll posted. So if you're not a Spotify subscriber and you subscribe to one of the other services, that's fine. But I definitely encourage you to join the Spotify fam bam. Much like the Roman Empire, we're here to stay. So, you can find us there. You can also find us on Twitter @Menacing Podcast. and interact with us on there, or find us on Facebook. Just search for The Menacing Podcast. We'll be back next week with an all-new episode. This has been a Russ-only episode. Tell your friends. And, please, I'm a sensitive soul. Killing the spiders has not desensitized me like it has some other men. I still have feelings. So go easy on me. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. And we'll be back, hopefully, to full strength next week. So until then, Pax Britannia. Or does that have something to do with the Roman Empire? I don't know. It sounds Latin-y.